through fear mongering with your droughts are intensifying, our oceans are acidifying, with methane plumes rising up from the ocean floor. Yeah. We are seeing extreme weather events, and the West Antarctic and Greenland ice sheets melting at decades ahead of scientific projections. None of this is rhetoric, and none of it is hysteria. It's all rhetoric. It's fact.
By the end of this century,
it's nice you could take a break from having sex with anything you want.
Go up another 4 to 8 degrees. What I'm saying is the planet's on
Iowa, Nebraska, broad swaths of the Midwest are drowning right now, underwater.
And for most of you, bombarded with warnings about what the future will look like if you don't address climate change. So, let's go through some predictions here, and you guys can jump in whenever. We're going to start in 1943.
Wow.
Prediction.
1943. Huh?
Yep. The U.S. was going to reach peak oil. Remember that term? For I know the Zoomers out there, you may not know this because they've kind of shied away from it now because they just don't really want to talk about it. But let me just give you just some sources, references, and all the references at loudrosecutter.com. They warned about peak oil in 1943, Bradford Evening Star. 1956, Corpus Christi Times. 1977, U.S. Department of Energy Organization Act. 1980, the Syracuse Post-Standard. 1996, Nobel laureate Richard Smalley. 2007, Government Accountability Office. 2021, the International Energy Agency. Let's also be clear about this when they talk about peak oil. In 2018, it was either 18 or 19, the United States was a net exporter of oil for the first time in God knows how long. It might have been the first time ever. I know it's the first time on modern record. But we're back.
Oh, well.
Yeah, no, because the environment's better off when we're begging a Saudi prince to light our homes.
And lugging it across the Pacific and the
Absolutely.
But let me give you this, an updated prediction. We're going to reach peak oil in 2040.
Oh, this one's for real.
1967, here's another prediction. A dire famine was forecasted. Away from it now because they just don't really want to talk about it. But let me just give you just some sources, references, and all the references at loudrosecutter.com. They warned about peak oil in 1943, Bradford Evening Star. 1956, Corpus Christi Times. 1977, U.S. Department of Energy Organization Act. 1980, the Syracuse Post-Standard. 1996, Nobel laureate Richard Smalley. 2007, Government Accountability Office. 2021, the International Energy Agency. Let's also be clear about this when they talk about peak oil. In 2018, it was either 18 or 19, the United States was a net exporter of oil for the first time in God knows how long. It might have been the first time ever. I know it's the first time on modern record. But we went back.
Oh, well.
Yeah, no, because the environment's better off when we're begging a Saudi prince to light our homes.
And lugging it across the Pacific and the
Absolutely.
But let me give you this, an updated prediction. We're going to reach peak oil in 2040.
This one's for real.
1967, here's another prediction. A dire famine was forecasted to be the worst and most disastrous ever by 1975. So keep in mind this was made in 1967. They were saying by 1975.
Did that happen?
This is from the UN, Washington Post, the Atlantic, the Evening Standard. No.
Oh. Well, that's good, I guess, that it didn't happen, or were they mentioning it?
Oh, Germany did it in 2015. WAPO did it again in 2017, and the UN did it again in 2020.
I don't remember those.
The deadliest famine in history, by the way, the truth, with China from 59 to 61 had nothing to do with climate change.
I mean, the
had more to do
one
with
on the front porch would be easy because the window's right there.
In 1969,
But for the
population biologist
back
Dr.
part,
Eldrick said in 20 years,
I was
everyone
thinking
would
I would have to run it
disappear.
out the bathroom
This is
window,
not a
but
joke.
then
In a cloud of blue
say
steam.
there's
This
an
was a
outlet
biologist.
anywhere
This is what he
close by the
wrote.
back
We must
door.
realize that unless we are extremely lucky, everybody will disappear in a cloud of blue steam in 20 years. So here is something, a prediction in 1970, another one. Leonard Nimoy.
So that was the only
Here he
problem.
is.
I was thinking is the back
How
porch,
we're
like
gonna
how can I get
be
something
a new
out to
ice
the back
age
porch
by the year
without under
2000.
the fucking
Here.
drop cord?
What scientists are telling us now is that the threat of an ice age is not as remote as they once thought. During the lifetime of our grandchildren, Arctic cold and perpetual snow could turn
What up,
most
though?
of the inhabitable portions
What's
of
good
our
with you?
planet into a polar desert.
The brutal buffalo winter might become common all over the United States. Climate experts believe the next ice age is on its way. According to recent evidence, it could come sooner than anyone had expected. And weather stations in the far north, temperatures have been
frozen hell. Buffalo.
Long free of summer ice are now blocked year-round. According to some climatologists, within a lifetime, we might be living in the next ice age.
Yeah, right. This dumbass pseudoscience about climate change and global warming.
You couldn't hire Kirk? Preparing a space launch?
Listen, second string needs his help.
Yeah, well, you know, and hopefully it dry freezes those ears. Well, we're food rationing, so.
Just saying nanu, buddy. Right? Stupid Spock.
So, just to be clear, I wanted to show you that because that was released and it was fear-mongering, of course. But,
but it's bad. Ice is bad, that one.
Yeah, well, ice is bad, that one. Yeah, because it's almost like they understood that frozen tundra is worse for crops. But let me really quickly hit this. This was widely accepted science. This was Washington Post, 1971. The White House, 1974. Guardian in 1974. Time Magazine, 1974. The world could be as little as 50 or 60 years away from a disastrous new ice age, is what the Washington Post said. Time said telltale signs are everywhere. When climatologist George J. Kukla of Columbia University, blah, blah, blah. I mean, these are everywhere. And here's something else, too. This is something that you're told today. Now, I'm not saying that because they were wrong about all of it before, but that means they
were wrong about all of it.
But the argument that they throw out 97% consensus, immediately dismiss it. It's a bullshit argument. Okay, I've told you about this before. You can go back and watch that segment. However, this is not the first time that they've made this argument. This is important because now people say, well, there might have been one or two. I gave you every major publication throughout the 1970s, and not only that, but these major publications were saying that anyone who denied the idea of a coming ice age were denying what? Scientific consensus.
Seems like the same arguments they're using today. But no. Tell me one of the warmest years on record.
2000.
No. 1930s. 30. You'd have to go back to the.
Yeah, I know, but it was the 14th warmest year on record was 2000. Is what I have right here. I just find that funny because it was warmer before an inconvenient truth, and then moderately cooler after.
Exactly. Well, no. That was the pause, the great pause.
Yeah. He was like the guy who timed all of his stock betting on Ask Jeeves. He couldn't have picked a worse time, Al Gore.
Bought American Airlines on September 10th.
Here's another prediction. In 1989, rising sea levels would drown countries by the year 2000. Here, I guess I don't even know. It's like, how do you fact check this? Have any countries drowned? Are there any countries that haven't learned how to swim yet?
We have any Atlantises out there?
Yeah. Is it? Are the Keys wearing floaties?
No.
Okay.
I think they're still.
Well, they've updated the prediction. Now it's Florida will be drowned by 2060 from The Guardian. 1988, here's another prediction. Officials claimed that the Maldives would be underwater in the next 30 years. So let's see, 98.
Yeah, let's count it.
2018. Oh, wow. Oh, well, we're past it.
Again.
Truth, 30 years later, they hit a record for tourism, 1.48 million visitors. But don't worry, they've revised it now that the Maldives could disappear by the end of the century. This is at CSNBC. All right, 1988 prediction. Bob Reese predicted, or Rice, I don't care, predicted that Lower Manhattan would be completely underwater by 2018. Well, here's the thing, actually. The truth is... No. The truth is, it actually has. Yeah, just not for the reasons they thought. Yeah, so, you know...
That is a kind of water.
I don't know if that's in the archive. New York City will be awash in hobo piss. That was the day after tomorrow. Jake Jones was like, we have to get the library. What? Hobo piss!
In any consolation, it's in much worse shape.
It's true.
Yeah.
Might be
being underwater would be a great thing for Lower Manhattan.
Kind of clean.
Be kind of a cleansing of the soul.
Yes.
So, well, here's a good thing. There's an updated from travel.com. New York City it'll be underwater by 2050. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Okay. Next prediction. 2000. This is actually. They said that their children wouldn't know what snow is by 2020.
Well, I live in Texas. I don't know what snow is.
David Parker, a researcher at the Hadley
Are
Center
all kids mentally
I don't know. That's what he said. He's like, by 2020, all kids will be retarded.
Different prediction.
Makes more sense, huh?
I mean...
And it was just in Arkansas.
Why wouldn't you know what snow was? There's still a history.
and movies.
None of this makes sense. They won't even know what snow is.
Well,
Everything that's ever captured snow on film will have been burned by the sun.
Yes, that's the rhetoric. Like, I know what a woolly mammoth is.
Yeah, I've never met a triceratops.
No.
But I've heard of them.
I also have biceratops.
Have you?
Has sex with anything that moves.
I met a quadceratops, a pelagic.
So here's a prediction now. In 2040, the UK won't have snow anymore. They didn't say that children won't know what snow is, but they're like, they won't have it.
My kid knew what snow was when we left the hospital. Because it was snowing.
So in 2009, this is a prediction. Al Gore, who was also not a scientist, but people weren't complaining when this was actually being taught as a part of curriculum. 2009, he said there would be no more ice in the Arctic by Academy Award, by 2013.
The amount that disappeared in 2005 was equivalent to everything east of the Mississippi. The extra amount that disappeared last fall was equivalent to this much. Comes back in the winter, but not as permanent ice, as thin ice, vulnerable.
You better not stand on it.
The amount remaining could be completely gone in summer in as little as 5 years.
Can you imagine him standing on the ice and It's a Wonderful Life, the kids are riding on a shovel? These are going to go straight down. So
he's such a knob.
I know.
It's like the Dark Knight.
And just to be clear, the ice does ebb, there's ebbing and flowing. So in 2012, there was 1.67 million square miles of Arctic ice. 2013, 2.25.
Oh, mostly true. So.
Oh, that's what? So there's more.
Well, there was more in 2013.
They said it was mostly
2012.
Are we going to debunk any of this today?
Are we just going to are we the prosecution?
Well, we can't debunk it because there's an updated prediction.
Oh, okay.
Arctic sea ice could be gone, according to National Geographic, or as I used to call it, the Tube Sock Titty magazine. Arctic sea ice could be gone by the year 2035.
They should have pushed that one out a little further.
Come on.
I mean, 60 is what I was
Give yourselves a little slack.
Yeah.
So, after breaking down all of these failed predictions, I think that we've all come to a conclusion, naturally.
You can shove your climate crisis up your arse. You can shove your climate crisis up your arse. You can shove your climate crisis. You can shove your climate crisis. You can shove your climate crisis up your arse.
You know,
I agree.
I couldn't have said it better.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Nobody wins in war.
What is that show that I'm trying to watch?
She's my sister, and I'm willing to fight for her.
Arcane. League of Legends.
Tonight, we start by looking at the failures of Joe Biden's presidency. Every step of the way, Biden has let America down. The left was so concerned with getting rid of the mean orange man and his tweets, they were willing to crash the economy and ruin your life just to get away. 10 months into Biden's presidency, and it looks like the American people are having second thoughts, as Joe Biden's approval rating has crumbled to an unsustainable 38%, while nearly 2/3 of the country, that's 64%, don't want Biden to run for a second term. And that's including almost 30% of Democrats. I bet Donald Trump is looking at a lot better to most of those voters. From Biden's embarrassing retreat in Afghanistan to his inability to contain the supply chain crisis, to surging inflation that's about to make your Thanksgiving a hell of a lot more expensive, it is clear his administration has no answers to the plaguing problems in our country. Let's just take a look at the gas pump, where the price of fuel has jumped more than $1.25 in just the last year. So what's the White House plan to fix this?
Why